It used to be that we really blamed families for children's troubles, and so it was their fault and they just needed to get their act together. I think we do that less, but now we do have an expectation that parents will do everything and that they can to help their children. And sometimes it means twisting themselves so inside out that it's impossible. Yeah. And they simply can't. It's not physically possible. We have parents who are feeling that amount of stress and load, and it's impacting their physical and mental health because there's just too much on their plate and they can't handle it. There was an interesting study, this one isn't on parents, but the researchers at Northwestern University, I think that's where they are, were studying rural poor African-American youth. And they were looking at the ones who had actually succeeded and who had psychosocial resilience. And when they studied them and looked at them compared to their peers who hadn't done so well, they found signs of premature aging and other physical difficulties that the actually less resilient peers didn't have. They were resilient in some areas, but there had been a cost to them in terms of their physical health. Yeah. And I think that we have to keep in mind that it takes a lot of effort to rise above circumstances that are really, really poor. It comes together, and when we pile on discrimination, racism, structural inequities, and then learning disabilities and low income, we've really put a load on that is almost impossible to hurdles that are almost impossible to jump over by yourself. Yeah.
In your services, how do you address the needs of kids and families who are dealing with these multiple sources of adversity?
First of all, we have to acknowledge them, and we have to acknowledge that they're not their fault. We know that validating somebody's position and not blaming them is incredibly helpful. It helps them get a clearer picture. It takes that extra emotional load off. And then I work with them to locate whatever supports they can find. And I really think with them, who in your community can you call upon? Let's think, these are what we look at what the needs are, and we make a list of what the needs are. And then we think through, where can you get help? And I have to say, there are cultural biases here against getting that sort of help. And I will sometimes hear from parents, well, I'm the parent, I'm supposed to be able to do it myself. And sometimes we have to get over that first resilience that, no, you can't do it completely yourself. You have a bigger load than others, and it's better for you and your whole family if you get more help. So where is it going to come from? And people have come up with some surprising ideas when you really explore with them where that help is, in the informal range and as well as the formal. So one person ended up having a colleague with an Airbnb that they rented out, and they gave the parents the property one night a week in the middle of the week, and the parents took turns every other week spending one night alone there. It made a huge difference on their ability to get a good night's sleep and recover. So they come up, if you really explore with families, often they come up with surprising solutions for where the help might come from.